All right, guys, welcome back to Surviving Hollywood. I'm Johnny Ray Diaz.
I am Aaron Arnold.
I am Austin Arnold.
And we just sat down with Samantha Jayne, who actually is somebody that's worked with Austin, if you want to talk about her.
That's right. Years ago, we were in a pilot together. Pilot never got picked up. And 3 years later, she has her own show coming to FX September 25th called Quarter Life Poetry. I'm in it. One-line part. Thanks, Sam.
Nice. It's pretty cool because FX has now created this sort of other a network, kind of like Adult Swim, right, called Cake.
Yeah.
And her show is going to be on there.
And Cake is a very young vibe. Weird and young and funny. And
So we basically talked to her about how she got started, how going from Sundance to FX to getting this thing on the air, also working with Austin and what that was like.
It's not good.
she tells it all.
I thought it was actually cool how she talked about this all really kind of evolved from like a book or like Instagram in this weird way.
From texting her mom.
Yeah.
Right. So it's kind of crazy to think that like
It started on social media
went
and it
viral.
just went through the ranks.
Right.
So if you're ever wondering what's it like taking a short film to Sundance, what's it like working with FX, if you're writing a pilot for FX, she spares no detail.
Yeah. And I think also talking about how really just any idea almost just it could be anything can be turned into a show sort of in a weird way.
Are you insulting?
No.
What are you talking about?
I'm just saying like, it started from something so small.
Anything
like
you
an
care
Instagram
about.
Well, it's just
thing.
like The Office, how they took
Yeah.
mundane things and they made it into a great show. It's like she's
Right.
kind of taking mundane things from our generation, younger generation, and turning it into a show.
Yeah, she's super accomplished, and I think it was really cool. She was really
Anyways,
fun.
if you are watching on iTunes, don't forget to rate, review, and subscribe. That would really help us out. Like the YouTube video and enjoy. Sam, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Great. We just watched your short, or your episodic. I knew it was a short.
Get it right, man.
It was extremely enjoyable.
Thank
I'd
you.
say.
The Macklemore of our generation.
Austin killed it.
I have one line. You guys will see it. Quarter Life Poetry on FX, September 25th.
Very subliminal, the crypto thing.
Crypto,
I didn't.
bro.
You can't. I didn't. That was Michael Beaudry, baby.
Oh,
and
he's
Sam.
he's amazing. He's the best. But
Yeah.
I knew you from before.
That's true.
Yeah.
Austin's really into crypto. That's surprising that you
Yeah.
gave him that line.
Perfect.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, it's a very millennial thing, right? Crypto now.
Yeah.
I feel like
Yeah. It's.
What's your take on it?
I am afraid of it. I don't know how to do it.
What is Bitcoin?
Bitcoin is this
get into it.
magical coin that is under a bridge, and you have to ask a troll for the password,
To
and
mine
then
it.
it gives it to you
Actually, that's correct.
subconsciously.
actually, there's a Bitcoin right behind you over there.
Ah, there it is.
There's
Oh
a
yeah,
real coin.
actually. There's literal like gold coins sitting in this
Turtle.
turtle tray. That's a Bitcoin.
Yeah.
Very
It
environmental.
has a B on it. Are you kidding me?
It really is a Bitcoin.
Yeah, there you go.
This is
No,
great.
I was serious. Austin really is into it. So
Yeah.
Exactly.
This is a Bitcoin. We figured it out.
Finally. But did you know? You knew Michael Beaudry before.
Oh yeah.
casting.
Yeah,
and-
he's awesome.
And when he did your show, you thought, Michael's my guy.
We needed every single person on the show to operate at 800%. And if you know Michael, he always does. So
110.
Great energy from that guy.
totally.
Yeah.
So I would love to dive into. Obviously, we just saw. Is that the first episode then?
That's the first episode.
First episode.
Yeah.
But I would love to know how the idea was created. Like, where was the initial concept?
The initial concept, well, I mean, it goes back. It goes back for a while.
We're ready for it.
It's you or you and your husband or
Yeah. Quarter Life Poetry, the project, I don't know how far back you want to.
Let's take it far.
But
Childhood.
From the very beginning. When were you born? I'm just kidding.
I was born on the premiere, the 25th, which is so weird. But it started, I was like going through a quarter life crisis,
Okay.
kind of. A lot. No, not kind of. I 100% was.
what is that? What is a quarter life crisis?
It's like just when you feel lost and stuck and sad.
Oh.
And
It's like a midlife crisis.
I thought that's how everybody
it's a
felt.
midlife crisis with slightly more hope because you have more
Time.
time on Earth
Right.
if you choose.
Right.
But yeah, I was like, I had just like moved to just a new city, and I had quit my job, and it was just like this whole big change. And I was like, I'm going to write a children's book for adults about that, called This Is No Longer a Children's Book. And so I did that, and I wrote that, and I illustrated that and everything. And then I actually wanted to like get it like published. So I reached out to a bunch of literary agents, and then one of them said, yes, but you're not anybody. And
Just cold emails you were reaching.
cold emails. I was not in the literary sphere. I did
Right.
not know that world at all.
What do you title those? Do you have a catchy title, or
Yeah,
it's
I was
just
wondering
straight to
too.
business?
It's a query letter, so it's like not quarter life poetry yet. It was like, this is no longer a children's book, query, and then that person's name, and it's like a very specific formality that you have to do.
So there's a structure to the email that has to be a certain way.
There is, and there's like
Okay.
all of these like websites telling you how to do a query
see.
letter. It's like this whole other dimension. So I did those, and then one person finally wrote back, and then she was like, you need some kind of like quantifiable following for like anybody to be interested in this. I'm like,
So that's the new thing, I guess. If you have to have a following.
yeah,
Is that what it is?
you have to, or else everyone will be like, why would I
Right.
read this delicious book?
Even
I
if they
don't-
like it.
Yes, even if they like it.
It doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't. Yeah, no, it was. So I probably like had a breakdown about that for a little bit, and then I was like, okay, what am I gonna do? And then I was dating my husband at the time. Spoiler alert.
Very casual.
By the way, where was this all taking place?
This was in San Francisco.
Okay.
I had moved to San Francisco, and this was a few months later. No, then it was Los Angeles. It's all a blur. The general California region is just like.
It was a quarter life crisis.
It was-
That was what it was.
I
It was just
blacked
like, where
out.
am I? I'm
Browned
lost.
out.
I browned out during the whole thing, like how avocados get just brown and mushy. Yeah. And he was like, why don't you just do the same kind of like drawings, except just do it super fast, like doodles, and then do like, cause I had like these like kind of quatrain structure poems, and it's like, why don't you just do them on like individual topics, just like super quick, and just like put them out there. Cause I was like, what kind of Instagram am I going to do? I'm not going to do like selfies.
Yeah.
Like
something
that-
different.
Yeah.
Nutritional product selfies.
Right.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
we don't need more of that.
Exactly.
So I decided to do that. And then I think at first I got like, I don't know, like 100 pity followers from my friends and my mom.
Now, was this the advice of the agent or your husband?
This was the advice of my agent to get some kind of
Okay.
following. But the actual content itself, he suggested that I just kind of take my book and do it a little bit differently.
Cool.
So I went ahead and I did that. And then I like went back, I think I went back to her with like 500 followers, and they were like legit like high school friends, things like that. And I'm like, I did it. And she's like, no, you didn't. And then again, Art suggested, my husband, he was like, why don't you reach out to like BuzzFeed? I'm like, oh. So then I reached out to a girl on BuzzFeed who had done like articles that were kind of like,
Related to it.
yeah,
sort of?
kind of like catered to that same like millennial genre of humor, that sort of thing.
That is BuzzFeed.
Yeah.
Yes, that is
That's
BuzzFeed.
what is yeah.
I reached out to, yes, exactly, the spirit of BuzzFeed.
Exactly.
The spirit of millennials past. And I was like, would this be interesting to you? And she was like, I think she like literally wrote back like, OMG, I die, front page tomorrow. Like I have that email.
And you turned that into an Instagram meme as well. You're
Yeah.
like, of course.
I'm like, oh, you guys you don't just write articles like that. You live and breathe that. It was
Yeah.
amazing. She was like
No hard-hitting news there.
yeah, she was like my hero. I love her so much. So she got it on the front page of BuzzFeed, and then from there it got picked up, and then I got more followers, and then I went back to my literary agent with now like over 100,000 followers, and I was like,
Wow.
I did it now. Can you
Yeah.
publish my book? And then she's like, no one's gonna want to publish your book. Everyone's gonna want to publish quarter life poetry.
Interesting.
I'm like, oh, which is the name of the Instagram. And I was like, I short circuited for a second, but then I was like, that makes a lot of sense.
Well, that's fair.
Right.
That's fair.
Yeah, it was totally fair. And then I had a blast doing it. Like I would just do different categories and I would do a bunch of different poems per category. I illustrated all of them and I really loved it.
Could you give us some examples about like what would you post on Instagram? What's an example of a quarter life?
I've seen some of them. I didn't know you did the artwork too. That's really cool.
Yeah,
Awesome.
I used to like do a lot of graphic design, illustration, stuff like that.
But yeah, for the folks at home
Yeah.
that do not follow the Instagram account.
But they're all going to
Right.
now.
What's like one example?
Follow. Like my friend has a baby and owns a boutique. I just bought a cactus. It died in a week. Like that.
Love it.
Just
like it.
You know.
I like the yogurt one because that happens to me a lot.
Oh,
Or like
yeah.
I'm like, I buy all these yogurts and they're just sitting there for weeks and I'm like, damn.
Yeah.
Didn't eat any of them.
Yeah. I can't remember them off the top of my head.
Yeah, but there was one I saw it. It was like the yogurt like spilling out and it was kind of
yeah.
like an ode to yogurt.
Yes. Yes.
And I was like, yeah, that happens to me a lot.
I know. They always just get moldy just when you want them.
I know. And I'm like, I'm going to eat one. And you're like, ah, damn, it's expired.
Yeah. But then you kind of like try it.
Yeah, then you try it.
And then
taste
you're
it.
like, well, is it supposed to be this acidic?
You eat
I don't
one.
know.
And then
You
you're
eat
like,
one.
I don't know. It's lemon flavored. Is it?
Does it smell good or does it not smell good? I don't know.
Mine's
It
vinegar
smells like
flavored.
yogurt. Does yogurt ever smell good?
I don't know.
Better
Yeah.
buy 6 more.
Yeah, exactly. And then
Supposed
you're
to
at
be
Trader
chunky.
Joe's and you're like, I'm not just going to buy one.
Exactly.
I'm going to buy all of them.
I'll eat it this time.
I'll eat it every day this time. And then you never do.
Nope.
So are you a
Doesn't happen.
poet or a rapper?
I would say like
both.
it's like spoken word poetry.
Ah,
Yeah.
I love rap.
This guy loves Eminem.
I also love Eminem. Eminem is a genius.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Eminem.
And Kendrick, there's tons of them.
Kendrick is phenomenal. Nicki Minaj is like my hero.
Really?
Whoa, dude.
The words, oh, she's so good. Yeah, I
Starships are meant to fly. That's what
you know what? That was the popular,
Yeah.
no,
No, that was a
song,
that's
but
the one I can think
it was
of.
very catchy. Yeah, I really love wordplay and the textures and sounds of the words and messing with the verse and it's
Was the original book poetry as well then?
It was like kind of like yeah. It was
Okay.
poetry. It was like rhyming like a children's book. So it's supposed to
see.
be like, this is how your life goes, except it's like,
Right.
it's all falling apart kind of
Okay.
thing, but like with a positive message.
So like Dr. Seuss for adults.
Yeah, totally. Dr.
Oh.
Seuss, Shel Silverstein, like those kind of influences I
Got
love.
it. I dig that. That's cool.
When we watched the pilot, I liked it. Seemed like I was watching like Hamilton, except for it wasn't teaching me about Thomas Jefferson and Alexander Hamilton. It was teaching me about 25-year-old things,
That's great.
and I thought it was really engaging. that
And
it was
you
rhyming.
learned something, didn't you?
Yeah, I'm gonna watch the second episode.
So after you did the book, how soon does that get turned into, whoa, we got to create a TV show?
Well,
Or a short.
So when it came time for the book to come out, we were like, I was so excited because it was with this big publishing house. So we thought that they would have like a marketing plan.
Who?
For it. It's with Grand Central, who's a subsidiary of Hachette, which is like one of the big 5. So I was like super excited.
Now was this with that one agent that said that, hey, turned into this now, or did you forget about them?
She helped facilitate the relationship with the publishing house.
Okay, cool.
So that was
So
all.
she was on board eventually.
Oh yeah, she's great.
Okay.
She was great. Everybody was great. But they didn't really have like a big. They didn't have what I learned. I remember reaching out to I think it was Jory John. It was the guy from All My Friends Are Dead. You know that book? It's like
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
really funny.
With the dinosaur
Yeah,
that's
with the
on the cover.
dinosaur. It's
right.
really hilarious.
on the
It was
cover.
it was
yeah,
memed.
That's
Yeah.
right, that's right.
I had a friend like hook me up with him and like his email, and I like reached out to him just because he did something similar, and I just wanted to know his thing, and he got published by a great publisher, and I was like just asking for advice, and he said something that is like was so important to me and is still very important to me to this day to remember,
Give it
which
to
is nobody will care about your project as much as you do, ever.
What does that mean?
That means that you are the only one who's going to obsess about your project. Unfortunately, I think everyone else is going to kind of see it as a job. I mean, you and your like creative partners that are doing it are going to obsess. Like Arturo obsesses with me, and the people
Who?
he
Her husband.
Okay.
That
Where
dude,
have you been?
I don't know his name is
I'm
Arturo.
with. Oh, yeah.
Who's a big director, directed Justin Timberlake's.
Yeah.
I just didn't know his first name. It was a new name brought up in the conversation.
Yeah. Art.
jeez.
So I had these like big ideas for marketing, but I think what they traditionally do, what they pitched was a book trailer. And have you guys ever heard of a book trailer?
No.
It's like literally like a dry old British voiceover man discussing the gist of the book
Over video or over just
over PDF pages of the book in a YouTube fashion.
so they're sort of narrating it?
It's like, this book is about the millennial struggle of a young woman.
Well,
and
if
I'm
it's
like,
British, you have to believe it.
you have to
You're like-
So much more
I'm
gravitas.
like, my God, he's so smart and intelligent.
My God.
yeah, right. I'm like, hard stop. No, like this is absolutely not happening. So Arturo and I decided it's like, oh, wait, he's a director. I write, I act. Wait, let's do our own promo videos for this book. And then we're like, they'll never let us do that. That's so rogue. And then we like went up to them, we like pitched them our big idea, and they're like, yeah, do it. I don't care.
Cool. And that was the first time you worked together.
We had worked together before. We had done short films together and some other projects. I think that was like the impetus for us moving to LA together. It's like, oh, cool. We can like work together at that capacity.
Cool.
So we decided to do these like 4 promo videos, and we just like put them out on YouTube. And it was so much fun to do. And they were like, I don't know, like 60-second videos. And they did really well. Like one of them was like embedded on this site's like Facebook page, and it got like 12 million views on Facebook. And we're just like, this is awesome. Like it got views. It was called like Mom Talk, and it's about like,
I remember that one.
yeah, it's about like, we wanted to do them about like the kind of person who would want to buy this book, you know? So we did that, and it was cool. It was like equal parts moms, because like moms are all up on Facebook. I think moms are more up on Facebook than we are up
For
on
our
Facebook.
moms now.
Yeah, we've handed it over.
My mom's all up on IG now, though. She's constantly sending me stuff.
Sliding into my DMs every once
I
in a while.
know, and I'm like, what is this weird?
It's nice that she has a relationship with you, man.
My mom has an Instagram, but she only follows me, my brother, and my husband, and she hasn't posted
She hadn't
anything.
posted anything.
Yeah, so
my
it's-
dad has one too. He has no photo on his avatar, just like literally
Yeah.
just nothing there.
Yeah,
I'm
'cause
like,
they're gonna get you.
yeah.
Don't give any information. Yeah. Where was
Well,
it?
I
about the
remember
mom video.
Yeah, I remember that one because a bunch of sites picked that up. After.
Yeah, it was so cool. Yeah, it was so all these moms were commenting on it, and all these like daughters were commenting on it, and I was like, this is awesome, because it's like sometimes you don't really know if like those things will relate to everyone, but it was like really cool that it kind of like struck this chord with other people. So that's like where the idea for a TV show came in, and then kind of we weren't really sure what it was going to be, because I didn't really want it to be a traditional like 20-something girl like straight narrative.
Degrassi.
Those are-
Degrassi,
I've never
yes.
seen it.
Those are
Because
18-year-olds.
but actually, I feel like the actors are probably like 20-something,
Yeah.
20,
Yeah.
18-year-olds.
On Glee, they were.
But I liked how yours was like different from things that I've normally seen.
I think the thing about it that needed to be different was the subjective reality element to it, about how, because this character in these shorts is, I wanted her to be like me, who's very,
She literally is you.
she literally is me, but like I've never seen like a introverted protagonist before, really, because
Pepper Ann.
Pepper Ann.
She was
Pepper
kind of
Pepper
Ann.
Ann, way too cool for seventh grade.
She was
Yeah.
outgoing though.
Yeah. No, she was super peppy. She had
Okay, I
a
forget.
little-
Peppy Ann.
Someone should do a dark twist on that.
That'd be
Yeah,
cool.
that's quarter
Who she,
life
who she
Yeah,
really
buddy,
was.
that's-
There it is.
A green hair episode.
Yeah.
There it is.
Yeah. So I wanted this character to be introverted, and it's tough because a protagonist needs to have a want, like a big, heavy want and a need. And like, if it's not externally expressed, then it's like this character is very passive and nobody really wants to watch or relate.
Why should I care?
Right. It's like, oh, this person doesn't care about their life. Why would, it's like, no, this person cares so much. They're just like imprisoned by their own mind. You know, they can't like get over themselves because they have anxiety. So the way to like, I realized to like dive into this character is to crack open her inner psyche and get to it through a subjective reality lens. And that includes, you know, spoken word. That includes
breaking the fourth wall.
Yeah, the inner VO. I mean, we have some shorts in here that are just, you know, straight scenes, but it's always through that character's perspective.
Right.
So every episode is through you, but do all the episodes go together, or are they all like stand on their own, whatever you call that?
They all stand on their own.
Serialized.
Yeah, so it's like an anthology. Like you can watch it.
So you can watch any one of them, and they don't have to like line up essentially.
Yeah, and that's the beauty of it being part of Cake, which is on FXX, and then it's like
It's a good name.
Oh yeah, because it's like delectable, they're saying, which I like. But it's part of like a larger block of like, and there's lots of like really cool like one-off animations in there, and like all sorts of like experimental stuff. And then ours happens to be like a recurring episodic throughout the series, so you'll see one pop up like per week. Yeah.
So to backtrack a little bit to kind of get to before you are on Cake on FX. So you did the book and you did the promo videos and you're like, oh my God, like this is actually like a cool idea. We should turn it into a short then? Is that what it evolved into? Or like a standalone project? Or was that from the promo video itself?
Because you went to Sundance, right?
Right.
Yeah.
So
I mean, it was a really long winding road. I mean, at first we're like, we should just turn this into a half-hour TV show, because your mind doesn't immediately go to like, let's do a bunch of shorts and have them on FX somehow. Like, you know,
that's
your
the
mind,
dream, of course.
Yeah, your mind doesn't go there. So it's like traditionally like,
do we call Spielberg or what do we do here? I
yeah,
don't know.
I'll just dial
just
him
call
on my
him?
speed dial.
Email? Oh.
I'll
Oh,
I'm trying to think of a beeper.
DM.
I'll beep him. Yeah. But we just decided to like come up with like a huge like series Bible for, I mean, at first we kind of went in the direction of a very traditional show. And then we pitched that around, and then.
And how do you do that? Do you just email the people, or you have your agent?
Yeah, agents and managers and stuff like that.
We want to hear the gritty details.
Yeah.
Okay, they make phone calls.
anonymous.
Yeah, so we're managed by Anonymous Content and reps by UTA. So
Oh, nice.
Was this
Whoa.
prior to FX or?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
And how do you get a UTA agent? How did you get it?
I think so. I did this. I mean, Arturo.
I know.
There you go.
He's number one fan now. I just you know.
He's done a bunch of beautiful work outside of us working together. I mean, he's done tons of music videos with like the Lumineers and like everybody. He's done everybody. So he was like solid in his own right. And then when Art and I started working together, I decided, oh, you want to hear a really actory thing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I really wanted to get into SAG, like really badly, because I was going to all these like cattle call auditions and all this stuff, and it was just like, oh yeah, this is the Surviving Hollywood podcast.
Hell yeah.
Okay,
There it is.
You want to hear?
Here we go. Here we go. Roll up the sleeves. We're getting in.
It was. I remember like have you ever cried after an audition?
I am not.
Have you ever silently allowed a tear to roll down?
Silently.
I wish
your
I could do
cheek?
that in an audition.
I remember I was like at my like zillionth cattle call audition. This one was for like a music video, and they like asked.
I feel like those are the worst auditions. Yeah.
Just dance. Pretend to dance.
Yeah, there you go. So, and it was like dress sexy. And I was like, for me, sexy is like a black tank top and like skinny black jeans.
Hey.
Like, wow. And so like I go there and there's like immediately I'm hit with the fact that I'm in Los Angeles and there's all of these like
models, yeah.
supermodels just
Yeah.
naked and like owning it and like loving it. I'm like, oh, Oh, that's sexy.
That's what they meant.
Oh, that's what they meant. Oh, this is not. And then I remember in that waiting room, there were like probably like 200 girls, including myself. And then the other half of the waiting room was all like 65 plus seniors because they were casting something else. So it was this like bizarre mix of like,
Random.
of like the hottest girls you've ever seen and just like this like old
Most dried up.
senior citizen crowd who was just like very pleasant, lively, and I kind of like preferred to stand over there because
Right.
they like had
Yeah.
Probably
like,
better stories.
incredible stories of their
Right.
youth. Yeah. So then like I remember like waiting for like, now I'm really going on a tangent, but I remember waiting for like, it was like 2 hours because when you're not set, they just make you wait.
Yeah,
for
non-union stuff.
They don't care. I think I waited like 2.5 hours. And then it was like finally my turn, and they bring like 5 of us in at a time. You
Right.
guys know how this goes. So so I was like waiting, and then the director like went away for lunch, and then he came back and he had like, this is like so stereotypical. He had like these AirPods in, and he was like halfway through this huge hoagie. I say hoagie because I'm from New Jersey. But
Okay.
it's, grinder sandwich.
Yeah, sub, like a sub,
There you go.
I've
whatever.
never heard anybody say grinder.
I never heard of
That's
grinder.
like North Jersey, I would say,
Okay.
probably.
Hoagie, that's funny. That's a funny word.
Yeah, hoagie.
Yeah, but I know what you're talking about. I get it.
Yeah. So, yeah, shove it in his mouth. He wasn't even looking. He just barrels into the room, and he's like, yeah, send in the next batch of girls. Send them in.
Aw,
I'm like, we're a batch.
that's disheartening.
And then I go in, and then he's not even looking, and he's like really into his sandwich. And then they're playing like the XX, and they're like, dance. And then like all these girls just like bliss out and start dancing. And I like try to dance. And then the guy, I remember the director just went, ugh, thank you. And then we all walked out, and then I went in my car and I bawled.
Aw.
I could not stop crying. It was like that moment where I'm just like, I went to college. I have more to give than this. But I'm sure all those girls, are super smart and like they're all great. But it's
Right.
just like it's just the
Well,
circumstance was very
sure.
disheartening. And I was
It's
like,
a sense of like I'm so overqualified for this, and it's like I waited 2 hours.
Yeah,
for
but
him to
it's
eat a
like-
sandwich.
yeah,
a hoagie.
But at the same time, it's like I'm in LA and I'm doing it. I'm
Right.
doing it, but I was like, I'm not. And it's like really in that car, I'm just like, I have to get into SAG now. So it turns out the only way to get into SAG, it's very complicated to get into SAG. It's like you either have to like build up enough like extra vouchers.
Right. Three vouchers.
Yeah, 3 vouchers, or you need to be up to like a speaking role because like somebody dies and like, oh, you come.
Taft
Taft
Hartley.
Hartley.
Yeah.
Yes. Or
Make your own project.
make your own project.
Boom.
Yeah.
I did that for a bunch of friends back in the day.
That's how I got
when
in
you could
SAG.
still do it.
Yeah.
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 You make a new media project and you Taft Hartley everybody.
That is it.
Can you still do that now?
I don't know.
I don't think you can.
They
don't
say
know.
they changed it.
They changed it, so
We all got
But you
in.
did it.
I did it. That's
Yeah.
exactly what I did. And that's that's the first thing I wrote. So I'm just like, I'm going to write this short film and the actors have to be 50% SAG, 50% not SAG. So I'm like, I will be not SAG. The other actress will be SAG. Great, done. And then I did this short film called Vanity, and it was like black and white, and it was like kind of like subjective reality, kind of like Quarter Life Poetry. Now that I think about it, where it's the girls getting ready, and then it just like devolves into mania, and she just kind of like.
And you pitched that to HBO?
I just did it. We just did it. We shot it. Like Arturo shot it, and like we worked with our crew that we always work with our friends, and it was super positive and super fun. And then that was like a Vimeo staff pick when we
nice.
when we put that
Put it
out.
up.
So that was like, and I got into SAG because of that. So that was like
Right.
awesome. And I was just like so empowered and excited
And
that
3,000 in the hole because you just joined SAG.
I
Just kidding.
I still haven't paid my dues yet.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
eligible.
All right.
Eligible.
We're not cutting that out.
Yeah.
Oh man, it's so much. It's so great. They should just they should just be like, here, congratulations.
Yeah.
It was so hard.
wish.
We put in the work too.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
know. Our manager today at Anonymous saw that and she was like, "This is great." Yeah, and then she brought us both
Oh,
in.
so
and
when
then,
you released it on when it got released on Vimeo, they saw it and then they wanted to bring you guys in?
yeah, and
Okay.
then they, brought us in to meet with various agencies, and we loved UTA and vibed with them.
So they signed you as filmmakers, actors, what?
Yeah, it's like multi-hyphenate kind of things.
Okay.
Writer as well, things like that.
However she makes money, they're taking a cut.
There you go.
Right.
There you go.
Right.
And did you notice that your career world just opened up now that you had UTA behind you, that you had Anonymous behind you?
Nobody cares about your project as much
for you.
as you do. So you're always going to have to grind and be at the forefront of everything. But
So if anything, you did more work, but you had the people behind you now to...
it's nice to have it's nice to have the support. And
Yeah.
It's
of course.
nice to have that. But
Yeah.
nobody's driving your career except you.
Right.
Nobody. Ever.
But when you did get these agents, did you get more auditions, or was that
Better auditions.
I did get better auditions.
Okay.
Yeah, I got better auditions. I decided to not do commercial auditions for at least right now anymore, and just do TV and film. And there were some really fun auditions, and yeah, it's been good.
So
Cool.
So at what point does Sundance come into the mix?
So we had been, we like hooked up with FX when we were pitching the TV show. And it happened very organically with them because we were like just doing the rounds and like pitching it around. But it was this girl, Samantha. I like to surround myself with other Samanthas.
Of course.
That's the secret.
Who at the time she was in an assistant role, but not anymore at FX, and she was just a fan of Quarter Life Poetry, the Instagram, I think, and she reached out and asked if I wanted to grab dinner, and we did, and we like totally hit it off, and she's like, have you ever thought about making this TV show? And we're like, as a matter of fact, yes, like we are ready to go. And she's like, oh, awesome. And then she just like literally was so badass. She like barged into the office of the head of development, and while she was like an assistant in current series, and she was just like, you have to meet her, these people, like have them come in, like it'll be great. And like
Very dramatic, the barging in.
Yeah.
I picture it that way. I picture it like this like
He's like, hey, I'm eating a hoagie here.
Yeah.
Come on.
this like Soderbergh kind of scene, but yeah, that would be so cool.
So that was before Sundance.
Oh, well, yeah, well before. So we came in and we vibed really well with FX, and they understood what we wanted to do. So we started developing like a half-hour series. And then very quickly we got like kind of stuck-ed, as my niece likes to say, because she was too young to say stuck. So she's like, I am stuck-ed. So we
Makes sense to me.
So why were you guys stuck?
because of that thing we hadn't cracked about the subjective reality. So this protagonist was very passive on the page, and it just wasn't like the special sauce just wasn't there. Right. And we're just like, So I remember this was kind of, I've had like weird instances happen in my life where I've had just like, I should do this. This makes no sense. Like one of them was like moving to San Francisco. And I like had never been to San Francisco, like weird things like that. This was like one of those moments I was like walking back from, I like just had my like smoothie, and now I'm going to say this. This is bad. I was walking back from yoga, and I like had this like.
Very spiritual.
Yeah, I think so. I think I was in a place where I was just kind of open, maybe. Yeah. I don't know. And I was just
That's
like.
That's a good place though.
It was.
Be open to everything.
It was a very good place. And I just was like, I want to write a song about social anxiety at a party.
Yes.
That's what I want to do. And this has nothing to do with Quarter Life Poetry.
And that was the song we just watched on the first episode?
It is, yeah. So I like came home and I was like, hey, Art, Quarter Life Poetry, I'm stuck with that. But I have something I'm so fucking excited about. And then I told him about that, and like, God bless him, instead of him being like, no, we should focus on what we're being paid to do right now. He's like, yes, do that, do it. And I'm like, okay, yes. And I like do it. And I like open my Google Doc and I spend like forever on it. And then I like check in with him and he like helps me throughout the whole process. And then we like go, it was just like so much fun to do. And it was like, I want to say effortless, but it was not effortless. It was like a ton of effort because I had never done it before, but it was so joyful.
Nice.
Yeah. And I just had so much joy in doing it.
Crafting the rhymes or?
Yeah, crafting the rhymes and the story. I think the story begins in her bedroom, and I just love, like, I was excited by the idea that, you know, in like okay, like you like Eminem, for instance, he's so fucking confident. He's so confident. And I feel like for like an introverted young blonde girl like myself, it's like, I am so fucking confident when I'm like in my room alone, ready to watch Handmaid's Tale. Like, that is my zone, you know?
You're like, I got this shit.
I fucking got this shit. So just to kind of start it from that fucking place of like, yeah, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do this, is the best fucking night. And then like to be like plucked out of that situation unwillingly, and she just kind of like emotionally crumbles throughout the entire thing. I just thought that was like a fun narrative. So we just had a lot of fun doing it, and then we finished it, and then we worked with our friend who's a sound composer, Christian Hanlon, who's like unbelievable. Arturo chose this like sample from this, like everything's like connected. Like he used to do a lot of music videos, and then like he got to know this one artist called Domla Nena, and she's phenomenal. And we asked her to use like a sample from her song, which is just like dun, 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 like that kind of thing. I can't really do it, but we asked her if we could use that in it, and then she said yes. And then Art kind of like led the like he like knew the vibe of how the music should be, and then we worked with our sound composer, and he made it sing and made it amazing. And then I like rapped over that, I guess. And then we all did this together. We made it. We're like, the song, it's like done. Like, it's here. What do we do with it? This has nothing to do with anything. And then we're like, well, let's just share it with FX. I don't know. We're stuck. I don't know. It's like, hey, Quarter Life Poetry isn't going great, but we have this song. And they were like, oh, actually, that's awesome, because we're putting together this like block of content with a bunch of like one-off like things from different creators. Like, this could be a part of it. This could be a music video part of it. Cool. And we're like, oh, cool. And then we like went back and we were thinking about it. And then we're like, you know what? This is Quarter Life Poetry.
Boom.
Yeah.
There it is.
And then we had all of these scenes that we had really loved from previous iterations of like the half hour show. So we like plucked those out, made those their own episodes. And then I wrote like 3 more songs. And then that's what Quarter Life Poetry became. Now, from there, we had finished that. Now we are back in. Now we're working on a half-hour version of the show again in that flavor.
For FX?
For FX, yes.
So they're going to do CakeFx, right? Is that what it is? CakeFx?
Cake.
Just cake. Just cake. So it sounds like each one is almost like a music video in a way.
There are 3 music videos, and then...
They're not all rapping?
They're not all rapping. Like, one of them is like a silent film.
Oh, cool.
And it's like, you know, you really have to go to the bathroom at work, and then your boss walks in and doesn't leave.
Why can't you just say, hey, I'm going to go to the bathroom real quick?
And you have to hold it in, and it's a horror
Maybe you
short
can, buddy.
film.
Yeah.
The rest of us hold it.
Not in this office, pal.
Yeah, what if you can't? What if you like really, really can't? So everything goes toward a feeling. Like, so we do cinematically like whatever we need to do to raise up that feeling. So if it needs to be music, then it's music. If it's silent, if it's dialogue.
Coen Brothers spoof? No?
Yeah, you can.
Right. Tarantino-like vibe?
Hey, when you make your FX TV
you do
show,
whatever the hell you want.
Yeah.
You can do whatever you want.
Me and Art are going to make the best.
There you go. Yeah, but Art really figured out the aesthetics of each one, and like the music videos are all anamorphic, and then we did like 4x3 for like the that office bathroom one, and then we did like each one has a different
Feel.
visual style.
Yeah. Well, what I liked about it, from what we just saw too, is that everything was so highly visual. So everything that she's thinking in her mind, we're seeing.
Yeah.
Everyone else is obviously oblivious to what's happening.
Mm-hmm.
But there was some really cool shots. Like that closet shot was really cool.
Yeah.
A lot of like that pan out to like this, like, because it felt very like you're obviously in your own head, and now it felt like you're just so isolated.
Yeah.
In that moment.
Yeah.
I thought that was really cool visually.
That's 100% like Arturo. And you worked with our DP, Drew Daniels, he just shot like Euphoria. He's incredible. And
Oh, wow.
Nice.
Okay.
yeah, they're like a great team. And Art just really wanted, it was ever since we decided like to do that like fantastical reality, he just like obsessed about each and every shot. Like that closet shot, for instance, it's like a girl's closet. And then we like back out and it's just this like abyss of nothingness.
Right.
And that's just like this big, we were in a studio and it was just this big dolly track that just tracks all the way back. And then in post, we just like make it even smaller with like black all around it. Just like, yeah, just totally obsessed about like each frame.
Another cool shot was the one where the camera, it felt very Michael Bay-ish when it kind of went around you as you were sitting on the computer chair. And then everything behind you was like just changing.
Yeah,
now, was that all just one take?
That was
Which all just one shot, like the effects behind you were changing, or was
in the
that,
bedroom.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was one take, and that was on a bedroom set. And then in that one, we took apart the bed, and I'm sitting on an apple box.
Okay.
And then the camera
Just going around
circles
you.
around the apple box.
Now, were all the lights behind you, like someone else was controlling the lights that were changing behind you? Because I remember like everything was.
I was controlling all of it.
That too. That too.
With my mind.
Oh.
No, we had like these incredible guys, you know, do all the
Just doing all that
lighting.
stuff.
Yeah,
Okay, cool.
yeah.
Nice.
But it sounds to me like you didn't even need Sundance. It's like this was getting picked up by FX either way.
Sundance was the dream like has always been Sundance. Like it just worked out so serendipitously that they had just come up with this indie episodic program, like I think a year or 2 years before. So we really just wanted it to show on its own because there was this beauty in the storytelling of how we arranged each short. We show them like back to back, and it kind of creates this it was like an emotional story kind of throughout the 28 minutes of it. So it was really cool to show it like all together. And it was like it was a cool experience.
Did FX, because we produce short films and like act in short films on our own, and our goal was Sundance. Turns out it's a lot harder than you think. But we got into other festivals.
I thought you just submitted and you're in.
We've submitted many times before. This is not the first time we've submitted. So
Did
it's
FX
tough.
give you a push? Did they help at all? Or
I'm sure saying that I'm sure that helped, but
the content stood on its own?
yeah, it has to. I don't think yeah, that's the beauty of Sundance. Like it's curated and it's there because it's I really like
So what you submitted to Sundance, you said it was indie episodic like category they had now?
Mm-hmm.
So you sent a full 30-minute project, or what was it that you sent in?
So that was one. That was like the first one, and then the rest of.
So you sent all of them together.
We sent all of them strung together.
Cool.
Yeah, and that's what
Nice.
they showed. So
Okay.
it was like one of the main features of the block we were in. The other one was this hilarious one called "Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared." Have you guys heard of that?
No, it sounds cool already.
Yeah, they were like super viral on YouTube before. It was kind of like this fucked up Sesame Street kind of thing, and it was
Nice.
brilliant. And we became friends with them. Went snow tubing with them. It was
Oh, wow.
It was fun. It was really fun.
Are they on Cake?
They should be on Cake.
Sounds like they
Did they
should.
get
I think
distribution?
they did. Yeah, I think they got picked
Okay.
up. They're British.
But not Cake though.
Maybe Adult Swim.
No
maybe
effects.
it's competition.
Cake.
I think. Look, I bow to them. They're amazing. You should check them out. But,
We will.
Yeah.
So you basically sent the whole first season to Sundance.
Yeah, we
Essentially.
sent all of it to them, and yeah, it was really cool.
And we have a lot of people that listen to this podcast that are, up and comers in the industry, writers, actors, directors.
Mm-hmm.
What advice would you give your younger self? Like, hey, this is what I didn't know about Sundance, but turns out I wish I would have.
Well, she said.
Didn't know about Sundance?
Yeah.
Or filmmaking.
Before, to get into, if somebody's just got into Sundance.
To specifically get into Sundance, what's the secret?
No, I was saying once you're there, it's like.
Once you're in
Once
physically
you're
there?
And, somebody's.
Don't go to the Miramax party.
Yeah, don't go to the Miramax party. Or
Avoid anybody named Weinstein.
Or like, hey, the parties at 8 o'clock are way better than the 11 o'clock ones.
There was a yacht party.
Oh.
Which I thought, because I had never been to Sundance before, and I'm like, oh my God, guys, we're all gonna go on a yacht. It's gonna be super fancy. And then it turns out it was like way better than that. It was this like 80s themed yacht rock party at like one of the, I don't know, like Chase sponsored spaces or something like that.
Yeah.
But it was like sponsored by Jim Beam or something like that. And there was this like incredible Australian yacht rock band, which I didn't know
Jesse's
that was a category.
Girl.
Yeah, it was all that. And we were just like, I don't, lately I have fallen into this sadness where I don't really let myself celebrate unless, or like really, you know, when you're like young and in your 20s, you just kind of,
depressed.
You just dance. You just go out and say, I just want to dance. It's like, I don't like let myself do that anymore because I'm like, I need to work and then I need to deserve to dance. But
Relatable.
at Sundance, at this yacht rock party, I was like, I am dancing.
It's literally Sundance, you know? How could you not?
There you go.
Hey.
Yeah.
All right.
That was really good.
So how did getting into Sundance change things for you?
Right. I didn't say any advice, did I? I just talked about the yacht rock.
I was going to let it go, but
We talked about the parties, but which
Sundance
cool.
is exactly what you would expect.
Sundance is a mad dash of craziness and excitement, and
Yes.
to be there and to have a project that you are premiering there is, in my opinion, the only way to be there, because
people come to you,
Because then you get respect.
right?
because then
You're a peer.
the elements are so intense. It's like I slipped like maybe 20 times. Like by the end of it, like my face was like flaking off, and like the only thing available was like pizza everywhere. So you just get this Sundance bloat, and everyone by like the second week, it's just everybody's like walking around just kind of like bloated zombies. The only way to I mean, you can go and you can get tickets and enjoy all of the films, but
But you're not a peer. When you talk to people, you're not on their level.
Yeah, there's something. I mean, if this podcast is for fellow creators, there's something, or people who appear in a project, there's something really magical about being there and being proud to show your work, and then you can talk to other creators who are equally as passionate as you,
Right.
and it's just like an inspiration fest. Like it's really inspiring, and that's what
And they see
I
your
loved about it.
work and they're like, "Wow, this is cool. We can talk about it on the same level."
Yeah, totally. Yeah, I loved that. So that was really fun.
Did things? I obviously you already had the FX thing going, but I'm talking about like in Sundance. Did you find that like that even pushed your career even farther up? Like, did things change even more for you there?
It was really, the visibility was really nice. Like IndieWire wrote a really nice article about like the breakout people of Sundance, and like Quarterly Poetry was included, and they wrote a really nice thing about our project, and it was different. It was really interesting actually. Because typically like we're like internet kids, like we're used to just like making something and releasing it ourselves on YouTube, just doing it.
That's all I know.
Yeah. And then, but it's cool, right? Because you get like immediate feedback. You get immediate likes and comments and views and all of this stuff. Like the 12 million views on the...
Instant gratification.
Instant gratification. And Sundance, like we didn't know what to expect. We were just like, oh, it'll be like that too. Because there will be all these like tweeters in the room and they'll tweet. And they'll, It's like, no. They see it and then...
Silence.
And then you get booed. No,
Yeah.
No, it's really cool in the room, but then and then it takes a few days for these journalists to craft articles about it. That's what it is. It's
Right.
Which is better. I mean,
Daunting.
it's like you expect one thing, but then you're gifted with this other thing that isn't the instant gratification thing, but it's like, oh, this like means,
But it's more thorough.
yeah,
It's
you're like,
like-
oh, this is really cool.
Yeah.
So it was really interesting. I would say the most rewarding thing about Sundance this past time that I think is probably the most rewarding thing of my whole life is that at the screening, so Kira Sedgwick, who's married to Kevin Bacon, she was premiering a pilot
The closer.
within closer to yes within our block, and her husband Kevin Bacon was there as well.
He's like, hey, I'm Kevin. How you doing?
We did not meet. However, he sat like maybe like 10 seats down from me. And when we got to that like office bathroom, I have to show you guys like this office bathroom one. There's
Right.
a point where I do let it all out and we hear it. We hear it very much.
Like Dumb and Dumber?
Yeah, like dumber than that. Like, and Kevin Bacon, I like,
Was laughing like crazy.
yeah, Kevin Bacon watched me take the biggest poop at Sundance,
And he loved it.
and he loved it.
He's like, damn it, I've been there too.
He used to be the voice of the teen generation in that
Yeah.
one thing, and now you are.
He's like, that happened to me on Footloose, I remember.
Yeah, Footloose.
That was my degree of separation from Kevin Bacon. I'm
Nice.
like,
Dude.
I can die now.
That's sick. That's awesome.
This is great. Yeah, I'd say that's the best thing that happened.
That is really good. I mean, how many people can say, like, I made Kevin Bacon laugh at me taking a shit?
Okay, I don't know if he laughed. I was too nervous to look at him.
Probably just you and
Whoa.
Kira.
He was actually not in the room.
He was right. He was right
all right.
there.
Just making
was
sure.
there.
He was
Making
right
sure.
there.
It was verified.
It is verified. I don't know his intimate reactions to that moment, but I imagine that
He
he
scowled.
enjoyed it. This is inappropriate.
He's like, oh, what did my wife get me into?
Yeah, that was cool.
That's fantastic, though. That's awesome.
That was good times. Yeah.
That's really cool.
So I remember because we were gonna get you on the podcast like over a month ago, but you were busy. I just remember you briefly mentioning, and I'm paraphrasing here. I just have so many rewrites. They gave me notes. How was that note process with FX?
So I was working on the pilot, which we have since finished the final draft, and we're actually waiting to hear back, like literally maybe tomorrow.
For the
about it.
full 30
minutes.
minutes.
For the 30-minute pilot for the 30 minutes.
22 minutes, probably.
Hey, if you get the call on this,
23 minutes, yeah. Something like that. Yeah.
if you get the call on this podcast, pick it up.
Yeah. I'll just do that and then I'll broadcast it to everybody. It's, writing a pilot is blanket statement, like we're very privileged to be able to be doing this. Like,
No, they're privileged, but go on.
okay. It's a different beast. It's very difficult to write. Okay, so let me back up. The short form that we did was like, I think we had like 100% creative freedom. They were like, do whatever you want. Like we won't even like give you notes, like just go for it. And then we did it. I think with a pilot, I do appreciate it. They've been really, really awesome partners, especially the head of creative development. She's been like championing this project since the beginning, and she's been awesome. And all of her notes have been like super on point and very, very helpful. You have to get across a lot of information in a pilot, and
Right.
it all,
Especially the first one, yeah.
yeah, and it has to all just show like the concentrated versions of everyone you're going to meet. You don't have to show everyone. And we're trying to do something very different from anything else. And I'm sure that's like the tritest thing you've ever heard in your whole life. But we really are. Like, we have this insane song at the end of this pilot. And lots of just really ambitious cinematic moments within it that we're just really stoked about. That takes a lot of like explanation and like a lot of description and just getting people on board with it. And it's been really interesting. It's been a discovery process. But we're super happy about this pilot, and we really want to shoot it.
So what's an example of a note? Like make the love story
Yeah.
better. Or-
Like, for instance, so the first iteration of this pilot that we wrote was entirely popping into, we're like, oh, let's create essentially a container for these shorts. Let's create a Quarter Life Poetry will be a container of shorts. So for instance, this pilot episode, she's like going down to get like her Eat24 delivery and she forgets her phone and she's in this like janky elevator and she gets stuck in the elevator for 23 minutes. And then it's like
The whole episode?
yeah, the whole episode.
It's like a Seinfeld episode.
But we're not really in the elevator for 23 minutes because her mind pops to all of these different
places.
scenarios. So that's, you know, the container of shorts that I'm talking about. So we created that, but then they came back and they said, we have to make this more narrative, you know? This should have, what will make us keep watching? And at first we're like, people our age don't want to watch, you know, anything that isn't like, but then we started thinking about it and it's like, you know what? Story is really important.
Yeah, story is important.
We want to.
People want to go on a journey.
But
Exactly.
Yeah.
but were those notes requests or they were telling you?
That was like, y'all gotta overhaul this because we have to
Gotcha.
refigure this. So
Guys,
that
it's
was
either
like,
this or Mr. Robot. Make a decision. All right.
yeah, this was like the blanket note statement. So we went back and we put it within a narrative structure that we actually are really happy with. And then later down the road, a more surgical note was like, within this scene, let's have more of, like for instance, the protagonist, like my character has a roommate. It's like, let's bring out more of her desires and her flavor within this scene with a few lines. So it was never like, you have to say this, you have to do this. It was just like, we want to understand these characters more. What's a way to showcase their personality very like succinctly and concentrated in a concentrated way.
No, it sounds like it sounds like they wanted you to develop the characters more. And so that way the audience can like, you know, connect with them in a way.
Yeah, connect with them and be like, oh, I'm excited to see their journey too.
Right, right. Out of curiosity now, I want to know about the money. So
Here we go.
Excuse me?
Well, no, so obviously you're writing this pilot, but then you also did the shorts. Did FX fund you shooting the shorts? And are they paying you now to write the pilot?
Yeah, they funded the shorts. And it was up to us to do what we wanted with that
With the shorts.
sum of money.
But they gave you the money and they're just like, hey, you go do whatever you want.
Yes, we put it all on screen. We put 100% of it on screen. We could have kept all the money, bought a zebra, and made an iPhone video.
Sure.
Cool.
But
Probably would have went viral.
yeah, it would have been
They're
great.
just like, guys, this is great, but iPhone, really? Hey, you know what?
Nice zebra. We like paid ourselves enough for rent, and then we paid our crew members like very, you know, and cast members fairly and everything.
I'm still waiting on mine.
No. No.
LOL.
No, we wrapped everything up. No, we're very so that we wanted to put everything on screen, but that's why it looks the way it looks, you know. But yeah, we have a development deal with them now that, you know,
It looks fantastic, the shorts. If you can say it, if you don't want to, you're not comfortable, fine. But I'm just curious, like, how much would they give you for a ballpark figure to make these shorts?
Were you guys lip syncing like that pilot episode? Like, how did you?
yeah, I lip synced.
Did Austin lip sync?
Yeah, we had to record our stuff like a day before or something, or a week before.
Yeah, we had to have everything like super crispy. And
So my choice was made. Actually, no, I recorded mine in the car, in your sound mixer's car that day on set, and then he kind of like put everything together, and it was the loose one. I'm sure he made it better.
it was great.
Yeah, but I'm saying he quickly cut them all together, and then he might have sunk them up just ever so tightly later.
Oh yeah, later we were like with him in the studio for a very long time, and like there was I didn't know this term until we started using it over and over again, and I don't know why it's a funny word, slippage. There was like all this slippage of like, you know, when you lip sync and then like the thing
Doesn't quite-
something's just a little bit off, so
off.
we would just like move my vocals just like a quarter of a frame, so
Right,
there was no slippage.
I see.
It just sounds so dirty to me.
So
Does sound like a...
you worked with Austin on Luck Boxes,
We
Yeah.
did.
a poker pilot, which has yet to be released, but we watched it. And you guys were peers at that point. And then Austin worked with you in this thing, and you're a peer as far as an actress goes, but you're also, you know, running the whole thing. What was it like working with Austin?
I wasn't running the whole thing.
Well, you were-
Arturo was running it. I was
I'm just saying.
I was merely a player.
What was it like working with Austin?
That's a good question.
Austin's great. Super positive, collaborative, funny. I would say you like have the same like buoyant, joyful attitude on screen, same as off screen, and you're very prepared.
Easy with one line. But yeah, no, it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, I mean, more so. I mean, yes, of course in this, but I got to see your like prowess in luck boxes. You were very good.
Right.
Great job.
But hey, can't wait till that's released.
I would have loved to seen a dog at the party.
What dog?
No, in the video.
Like a millennial petting a dog.
Yeah,
at a party.
because it's like me. I see the dog and I'm like,
That was
talk
actually-
to humans or talk to dogs.
that was
I'll go
a
to the
whole
dog.
verse.
I'll go to the dog.
Yes, there was a whole verse where there was a cat, and I go to pet the cat, and then I talk. I had a whole other verse about the snacks, and it was a lot. You gotta,
it's too much. Yeah.
It was too much. I remember like writing that like a whole thing about petting a cat, and then
they're difficult to work with.
yeah, it's like herding cats, and then Arturo was like, "We gotta stick to the, you only have so much time." We're like, "You're right." So yeah, it's somewhere.
Yeah.
Petting the cat.
Hey, I got a question. Are you more of a lyricist, or could you also freestyle?
No, lyricist. I sit with like 2 Google Docs and rhymezone.com open. Like that's no.
Been there.
But
Rhyme Zone.
sometimes it's fun to freestyle.
Sometimes it's fun to freestyle. I'm not a good freestyler. I'm just gonna say that point blank. I'm not a good freestyler.
Are you getting these walls she's putting up, dude?
Just putting it out there. If maybe we wanted to freestyle a little bit in the spirit of the show coming out September.
If you
Austin
start,
wants
dude.
you to make one.
You start.
If you want to hear the worst freestyle in the whole world, you can ask me to do it, and I will give that to you.
Yeah,
and
sure.
I'm going to set expectations very low.
Do you want a beat, or would you want to do just spoken word?
I don't know. Now I'm like getting a rash. I'm so nervous.
Oh,
The
why don't you do
expectation
it?
of this podcast
This
are
guy
really
instigates everything. Why don't you do it?
All right, drop me a beat. But you got to pick it up if I do it.
Okay.
And make it about millennial podcasting.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Okay.
Show is called Quarter Life
Poetry.
Poetry. Okay. I was gonna say crisis. Quarter life crisis. You know what I'm talking about, sis. My name is Aaron, and we got a podcast. Okay.
It's quarter life poetry.
Yeah, I know. It's called poetic license. No, I'm panicking here. Okay.
I know. It's hard, right?
The beat is so fast, dude.
It's slow it down a little bit. Get more of a hip hop beat. There we go.
All right.
Okay.
We got it.
Okay. This beat is really slow, but I'm so excited for more. This is going to be a disaster.
It's September 23rd?
25th. Right?
September 25th on FX. Everybody go sit down and get the snacks because Quarter Life Poetry is going to be the best. We are so excited to be amongst the other very best. It's going to be so wonderful. We cannot wait. So please stay up late because we're saying some dirty words. Don't hesitate and listen to the words that we all make. This is so bad.
That was pretty good.
Pre-scripted.
All right,
You had
we
that in
liked
the
it.
bag.
Yeah.
Next time you're on, we're each going to write our own thing before, and then we'll bring it on the podcast.
She's not coming back if that's the case.
For
No,
season
it's
2.
not.
What time does it air?
10:30.
10:30
Both here and there and everywhere.
Pacific time.
Pacific time and East Coast time.
Okay.
And
Because
you're,
we say bad words.
That's even better.
and they're mainly cartoons in Cake.
Yeah, lots of cartoons. Lots of like really. They snuck us a peek of the first episode, and it was like really incredible, like animations. It was really really cool.
All right.
So is it a whole 30-minute then? And then like there's split between all these different
Yes.
things.
Yeah,
Awesome.
It'd be really cool.
Dope.
Yeah. Man, I just want to like go back and like write a whole thing now and then do it. But
You won't do it.
Oh.
Calling you out.
As a call to action.
No, just kidding. I
So-
can't wait for.
Yeah, it looks really cool.
Here's the
I'm
thing.
excited for it.
A lot of times when I was watching this pilot that you just showed us, the way it was shot, just like the style of it,
So good.
and just like everything was engaging. Here's the problem
Yeah.
with people our age watching stuff. It's hard to keep them engaged.
Yeah.
But you're going to be engaged the whole time. I guarantee it.
yeah, it'll be fun. And then we're trying to get it on YouTube afterwards so everyone can share it.
Good.
Cool.
Which is how everybody watches things.
And I know you're still writing the pilot for FX. Any idea when that might come to fruition? Or are we still working the beginning,
When
bare
they give us
bones?
the green light,
Gotta
baby.
wait on ratings.
Got it.
When they give us the green light, then we're ready to go. We're hoping to shoot in a few months
Okay.
and to start pre-pro immediately.
Awesome.
Michael Beaudry coming back is.
Yeah,
casting?
we told him about it. Super in. We love
All
him.
right, cool.
As long as I don't work with Austin anymore.
Michael's my buddy, dude.
Oh, okay.
He calls us his favorite twins. Maybe he says that to every twin. Michael, let us know in the comments.
Even non-twins.
Yeah.
Where can people find you?
People can find me.
Plugs.
Where can they follow you?
Yeah.
Can
Follow
find
you.
me aimlessly wandering around Silver Lake with just a glaze over look in my eye,
okay.
thinking about my failures.
Cool. It's a great city, though.
Classic.
They can also find me on Instagram, Quarter Life Poetry. That's pretty much it. If you want to
Okay.
follow my personal Instagram, it's Samantha Jayne. Our neighbors have chickens. I do a lot of videos of
Oh, nice.
our neighbors' chickens. It's not my personal Instagram is not an exciting place to be.
Chickens in Silver Lake?
In an apartment?
Yeah, outside
Whoa.
an apartment.
Very hipster.
Yeah, super hipster. They're not even ours. We just kind of like
Great breakfast,
hang
though.
out with them.
Whoa.
If you get some eggs.
They do.
Oh.
They do give eggs. They're pretty good.
Thought you were
These
saying
guys
they-
are vegan.
I thought you were saying
Are-
they ate the chicken.
Are they lesbians?
They might be. They're like best friends.
Didn't Farb tell us that he gave chickens to his lesbian neighbors?
Yeah.
Anyways, maybe they're the same.
Oh, are the chickens lesbians or are
I'm talking
neighbors
about
lesbians?
the neighbors.
No, it's a man and his girlfriend.
Different chickens, different apartments. Then.
Yeah,
All right.
the chickens might be lesbian.
No, I wasn't talking about that.
Yeah.
Where's the rooster? That's where it all comes down to.
No rooster.
No
Then you
rooster.
can't eat the eggs because you don't know what you're eating.
Can't sleep either because they're going to
Yeah.
wake you up in the morning.
Yeah, they're
It's
obnoxious.
actually. I got nothing. Hey,
Anyway,
great podcast.
Great
Thanks,
to have
Sam.
you, by the way. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
September 25th.
Yeah. FX. There it
FX,
is. Cool.
FXX.
And happy early birthday.
Thank you. Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah. What do you want for your birthday?
Views,
Classic.
Cool.
validation.
All right, cool.
Love it.
That was fun.